doing some other notes in between now and then, but
for
right now, we are talking about some baseball. So tonight we have some baseball, but we want to. The reason we wanted to do this today is because we wanted to have a clean transfer of series, essentially. So we're going from round 2 to round 3. The Brewers had a bye, so they bypassed round 1. So we're going to completely wrap up round 2, and then we're going to discuss some preview stuff for tonight and tomorrow's games for the first part of the NLCS. Now, the reason we wanted to do that was because we didn't want to be in a position of getting to Wednesday and having 2 games from last week to talk about from the previous, or 3 games, sorry, from the last week to talk about and be like, okay, yep, here, we're going to go backwards when everybody's going to have games 1 and 2 on their mind from the NLCS. So we wanted to give this some time. So we want to go through this today. We're going to go through games 3, 4, and 5. We're going to talk about some of the series stats as a whole, and then we're going to go through and we're going to preview what game 1 and 2 will look like from the Brewers' perspective, some pitching, some numbers, some X factors that we have for the NLCS, and then we'll recap games 1 and 2 on our regular Wednesday show, and then we're going to talk about where the Brewers go from there, depending on what happens tonight and tomorrow. So, with that said, Jake, let's start with game 3 from last Wednesday. Let's get these 2 out of the way. Let's go to game 3 first.
Yeah, so game 3, Quinn Priester is on the mound. And some quick thoughts on Quinn Priester that I thought of before the game. I was actually texting my dad, and I was like, Dad, I don't know if Quinn Priester, this is immediately after I heard the quote that he was amped up the day before. I'm thinking like, oh boy. That's not normally a good thing for you to have all the jitters. Then obviously some people that don't know, but he's from the Chicagoland area. So going back to his hometown, his first playoff start, this guy was a former first rounder, so he had lofty expectations coming in. Obviously, we know the story of him coming to the Brewers. So I'm texting my dad, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know if this is a good idea. Like the nerves might get to him early, and obviously my intuition was correct because he was just way too amped up. That's not a bad thing. I love that the emotion is there. You want the emotion there, but I just thought that maybe him pitching in Chicago on top of his first ever start was a little bit too much for him. Maybe starting him in game 2 might have been a better move, but I could say that right now because obviously we know that, looking forward, the Brewers end up winning the series, but Quinn Priester struggled, obviously didn't make it through the first inning. Nick Mears had to come in. He did allow an inherited runner to score. So the Cubs scored 4 runs in the first inning, and obviously the Brewers are playing from behind again. The Brewers did get a run themselves in the first inning. They get a leadoff double from Yelly. And then they get a ground up from Churio, Terang with a walk, and Contreras infield single. Frelick hit a sac fly to give them the 1-0 lead, and then Priester, obviously, like I said, location was kind of all over the place. 2 walks, 4 earned runs, 3 hits. And then you get the Brewers end up just clawing their way back into this game the rest of the game. They get 3 straight singles from Frelick, Durbin, and Bowers to cut the lead to 4-2. After the first inning, the Brewers only gave up 5 hits and a walk. So very nice job by the Brewers bullpen. I'm talking Mears, Quintana, Grant Anderson gave us 2 really good innings. Jared Kanen gave us a 30-minute inning, and Chad Patrick, the freaking best playoff riser I've ever seen in my entire life, dude. And I'm not even shitting when I say that. That is not hyperbole. I literally mean that. This guy was like, I was like, oh, okay, he's pretty good, during the regular season. He's pretty solid, And all of a sudden, this guy is like fucking best pitcher I've ever seen in my life, dude. Like, holy hell, bro. What is going on? He's been amazing. The Brewers did have bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th, but Bowers ended up striking out, swinging. He took the first 3 pitches of that at bat, got to a 1-2 count, and then he was in a protection mode. And obviously, like I said, he struck out, but they got a double from Yelly, his only double of the series. He struggled in this series. We're going to talk about him later. Jackson Churio got a double, his second double of the playoffs. Bowers had 2 RBIs, one being a home run that was really nice. That cut the lead to 4-3. And they ended up leaving 7 on base and 2 for 9 runners in scoring position. So, I mean, all in all, bullpen on fire. That's a positive. It's a really big strength for the Brewers. And if they, this whole series was like that, if they could just cut down the first inning, it seemed like they were shutting down the Cubs. All the other innings, 2 through 9, where they were not really a threat. It was just really that first inning that was kind of killing the Brewers. And, they killed them on this day.
So part of this is with Game 3, I was like, all right, Cubs, they bat 9. They score 4 in the first inning. I just wanted to throw out there that the Brewers in Game 1 batted 9 and scored 6. So Nana Boo Boo, we're better than you. But you brought up all the pitchers that pitched. Jake Bauers drove in 2 of the 3 Brewers runs. So my thing with this was, unlike Game 4, there was no point in which this win was comfortable for the Cubs.
True.
Like, they had to sweat this the entire time, use all their leverage. Obviously, again, it didn't super play into Game 4, but it did potentially play into Game 5. I mean, they emptied the farm in Games 3 and 5, really. But Christian Yelich in the leadoff spot, started with a double, like you said. Turang drew a walk. Contreras had a pop-up on an 0-2 count. The Cubs couldn't see it, and it fell, and everybody was safe. And instead of first and second with 2 outs, Brewers had the bases loaded with 1 out, and Sal Frelick hit that sac fly, like you said. That point, I was like, ooh, all right, that might be the kick in the pants for the Cubs to kind of just be like, well, fuck, if we can't catch a pop fly in the infield, how can we win this game? So that's what I was hoping for when that happened. I was really excited. And then you get to the bottom of the first, and Michael Busch hits his second leadoff home run of the series to tie the game, followed by a single and what I would say is a pretty tight strike zone walk. But like you said, Priester's command wasn't great. Sal Frelick ended up making a snow cone sliding catch for the first out, which was followed by another walk. And then PCA singled in a pair to make the game 3-1. What annoys me about this, and unfortunately he will be part of the NLCS crew, is that hit happens and the announcer goes, that might turn out to be the hit of the series.
Oh, boy.
There are dead-ass Cubs fans out there that think the announcers favored the Brewers.
Don't worry, I saw.
Like, bro, I need to be careful because I'm going to say some really out-of-pocket stuff if I really say what I think. But, not
right
a lot
after
of
me.
to say.
Right after me, Andrew.
Andrew asked where Jake Bauers ranks in the all-time greatest Jakes in Wisconsin history.
He's number 70. I'm number 69.
Who's number 1? There was a correct answer. He's playing on Sundays. Scoring tutties.
Jake Kumaro, bro?
No, he's not playing on Sundays.
Well, I don't know that.
Jake Ferguson, my guy.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Ooh, what a ball drop by you.
Ooh. Dude, I don't often think about the Cowboys. It's my fault.
Well, I mean, you should think about the Badgers at least. I mean,
I don't want to think about the Badgers right
former
now.
Badgers.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because Jonathan Taylor's going off lately, too.
He is.
All right. Tangent. Got a Jake tangent. All right. So, with Game 3, the only other thing that I really had to say, this was the first time in Major League Baseball playoff history that both teams scored in the first 3 innings of the first 3 games of the series. So that was kind of just an interesting thing that happened. We can jump into Game 4. Again, not a ton of stuff to say here. Murphy went with a different lineup, still with Christian Yelich leadoff, Bryce Durang batting cleanup, Sal Frelick batting 7th. He said that he was doing it to mix up the lefties, which I understand to a point, but to me, it felt like he was messing around with the lineup just a little bit too much. So I get that the Cubs had home field advantage, and it absolutely felt like the Cubs had some home field advantage. Yeah, Justin said, I'm guessing the hats were bad timing by the way they're playing. Yeah, way to go, Justin. You single-handedly jinxed them. It has nothing to do with anything else except for you sending us some Badger hats.
Yeah, you SOB.
I blame you, nobody else. So it felt to me that these 2 games with Murphy messing around with the lineup, kind of like it ain't broke, but I'm going to try to fix it, is kind of how it felt. With messing with the lineup. I mean, they scored 16 runs in 2 games. Like, just leave it the same. And like I said, I understand trying to mix up the lefties. I get that. It did. I mean, as far as anything that happened, I mean, the pitching is really the only thing I can say anything good about. Freddie Peralta followed a 1-2 single with a 4-pitch walk. And then Seiya Suzuki, full count, struck him out. Both of them ended up scoring anyways on a 2-out home run by Happ. Bottom of the second, a throw by Caleb Durbin takes Vaughn up the line. That was followed by a full count walk the next at bat. Took 5 pitches. Freddie Peralta had 50 pitches in 2 innings. That's tough. That's not a place you want to be in. Got a 1-2-3 bottom of the third that still took 19 pitches. So Freddie Peralta, not a great 69 that you want to see, is 69 pitches through 3 innings.
No.
That's not where you want to be with 69 pitches.
That is not.
69 pitches to go through 5 innings, that's beautiful. But 14 pitches an inning, I will take that.
Yeah.
I mean, even through 4 innings, if you're at 70 pitches after 4 innings, you're talking 17 and a half pitches, you're talking 87 pitches after finishing 5 innings. You let them start the 6th.
Yeah.
104 pitches to go 6 innings. I'd be perfectly happy with that.
Yeah.
Top of the 5th, Sal Frelick had a leadoff double. It was really good hustle by him. Blake Perkins drew a 5-pitch walk. Joey Ortiz bunted him over for the top of the order. You got to be able to score runs in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I've been a pretty strong proponent of not making outs on purpose. If Joey Ortiz had, kind of surprise bunted and tried to do it and get a hit, but he was up there squaring up as soon as the pitcher had the ball in his glove. Not even like as he's delivering the pitch, he squares up. He was up there like, and then the pitch is thrown. Like that to me is like, okay, yep, here you go. Here I am. Get me out. And the thing is I believe Joey Ortiz is fast enough to beat out a ground ball, a double play.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I just don't like making outs on purpose. I just don't like it. And again, it benefits me in this situation that this is exactly the situation that shows why I don't like it, is because 2nd and 3rd with 1 out does not guarantee you anything. Like, you should be playing to try to score multiple runs, not trying to score 1 or 2. So I didn't love that situation, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff about how I feel about the bottom of the order when we get into our preview a little bit in a couple of minutes. But it felt like bottom of the 5th, McGill came in, allowed a 4-pitch walk, got a strikeout, allows a single, and then Aaron Ashby comes in, and nothing really gets cleaned up there. Bottom of the 6th, Cubs tacked on an insurance run, and Chad Patrick came in and gave the Brewers some length. That's really all I had to say about Game 4. It just really didn't feel like a great scenario when you mix in the home field advantage and what I felt like was an overmanaged lineup.
Yeah. That was my biggest takeaway too, is why did you change the lineup at all? And I understand, maybe, I heard the reasoning about the lefties as well, or maybe, you think that this lineup is better on the road or something. I don't understand. Some of the analytics, I like analytics to a point, but I feel like it's one of those things like people who just watch box scores, right? And we've talked
16
about
runs in 2 games. I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, and we've talked about analytics and box score watchers. Like, you cannot correctly debate with somebody if they literally just look at a box score, because they didn't watch how stuff happened. They didn't get the full context of the situation.
Especially in the playoffs. Context matters even way more in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. And when people are talking about, numbers don't lie, I always reply with, well, they don't tell the whole story either. So you gotta have both things, gut feelings kind of thing, I guess, is what I'm going with.
Eye test is part of it.
Yeah, I wrote down shutoff in the playoffs is so tough, man. I mean, 0 for 4 runners in scoring position, 6 left on base. The Brewers had more at-bats runners in scoring position than they had hits. They had 3 hits. They got a single from Churio on the top of the 3rd, first pitch of the at-bat. They got a double from Frelick. That was a really good at-bat by Sal Frelick, by the way, on the top of the 5th. And then they got a single from Andrew Vaughn to left in the top of the 6th. Other than that, that was pretty much the offense. Terang, 2-hole. Yep, that's where he belongs. And then you put Contreras into 3 or 4. You can flip Yelly and Contreras. I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me, because both of them can produce in either the 3 or the 4 spot.
Yep.
They both act as a 3 and 4 anyways.
And Vaughn is batting 5th, so it doesn't matter.
And Vaughn 5th. That's exactly how I feel. You leave Churio at the top, Terang, you can go Contreras, Yelly, depending on matchup how you feel about that. You go Vaughn after that, and then, you figure out the rest of the order, with Durbin and
Terang or Durbin and Frelick and Portland Ortiz.
And Jortiz is what I'm going to still call him.
Yeah.
Jortiz. You like that? No? Don't like that? Okay.
Taylor said, too awesome. Good looking jet flying, Rolex wearing son of a guns. Taylor, I don't know. Maybe there's a check in the mail that we missed from you that's supposed to buy us a jet and a Rolex, but I definitely don't have either of those things.
I would take either jet, either check. I would take the check for the jet or the check for the Rolex. Either one would work for me. I don't need both. You can send Tyler the other one if you want to. He could take the jet flying check, and I'll take the Rolex check. That works for me. I'm sure Tyler will agree. There's the last couple things that I wrote. You covered pretty much everything else. I wrote that Chad Patrick, again, is like the greatest playoff rise I've ever seen. To this point, he had 3 innings, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, and 3 Ks, and this is not even before he had his freaking coming out party on national television.
We'll get to that in just a second.
And it was, and I know that it wasn't exactly what everybody wanted to see, but the way the game was going anyways, I thought it was a good thing to get Gosser some playoff experience, especially in that situation. I mean, Wrigley Field was bumping. I'm going to give respect where respect is due. Chicago had that place bumping for 2 straight games.
Yep.
So good for him to get some play experience in figure of speech. Hey, I got you. I know it's from Nature Boy. So good or bad, I thought it was good to get Gosser some good playoff experiences.
All right. So now, game of the year, I would say in any sport, for Wisconsin sports are concerned, game of the year, best game that we have witnessed in the year of 2025 is Brewers Cubs game 5, and I don't give a shit how many Cubs fans you see whining about it. Oh, how long are you going to beat the drum that you beat the Cubs? Literally up until game time tonight.
Yep.
I would say maybe even up until about 4 o'clock when we switch from NLDS to NLCS. But not as long as you're going to keep talking about losing it.
Okay. Before we get started, I got to bring something up, brother. Did you see, I think they're called like 670 of the score or whatever?
Yeah.
Did you see them whining about the L flag stuff?
Dog, that has got to be the softest thing that I've seen Cubs fans whine about.
Ever. Dude, you're going to cry about a flag like we haven't been doing it for years, bro? You're going to cry about it like you guys don't do the same thing to cheeseheads, bro? I've seen cheeseheads with graders. I've seen cheeseheads inside of a bear logo on top of somebody's head. You don't hear me fucking crying about it?
You want to know what's wild about this? Is that Cubs fans were acting like the Brewers are the only one that did some poking at the rivalry.
Seriously.
You want to know something about the Cubs? Their Game 4 victory caption was literally, "This is our crew."
Yeah.
Not a single Brewer fan gave a shit. You know what they did? They captioned it Game 5 and said, "And this is ours." Take your L flag. Enjoy your silent ride back to Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. This time the L is not silent.
If you want to, dude, the Cubs fans are the epitome of being able to dish it and not take it.
Yep.
Now, I will say, I've pretty strongly over the last 3 to 5 years that we've been doing this show said that I haven't seen any intelligent Cubs fans. I've seen a couple, like, could count them on one hand, but I've seen a couple very respectful Cubs fans saying, like, go win it for Uke, good game, good series, like, respect.
Yeah.
It's like 3. The rest of them are all whiners.
Yeah, and then on top of that, this is coming from the same fan group that literally talks about a football team at a baseball game.
That didn't even involve a Wisconsin team. Literally at Cubs Padres, they're chanting Green Bay sucks.
And they want to talk about rent-free, bro. They want to talk about rent-free. And
they want to call us little brother energy for celebrating beating them.
Yes, and this is the final point. You brought it up before. How long are you guys going to talk about this? You guys are literally talking about beating the Packers in Lambeau still, bro. That was literally a whole last season ago, bro. You have an entire new head coach, dude. What are we doing here? They're still talking about it. I still see it online. oh my God, Chicago fans, bro. I wanted the Chicago fans because I wanted this opportunity to laugh at them.
Yep.
And I gotta tell you, when they're whining as we're picking on them, it makes it so much better, dude. So much better. I don't care what anybody says. That's bully energy. I don't give a shit. I don't want to bully you guys because you guys are some crybabies right now.
Taylor said I went live on TikTok in the top of the ninth, and someone come in and said, would you guys stop with the whole do it for you stuff? And I had a little minor crash out. Why would we stop with that? It's literally motivation of a guy who's been part of the organization for like 50 years.
It wasn't like he was important to baseball or anything, or like every team that the Brewers traveled to on the road, they gave a tribute to Bob Uecker.
Right? Yeah.
Literally everybody knows the movie Major League. He was one of the biggest stars in that movie. That movie's elite.
Yeah. Anyways,
we're going to talk about the game when we beat them.
What Bob Uecker means to baseball is just mind-blowing.
Dude, I want to crash out so bad right now. So we get to this game. We hear that Trevor McGill is starting the first inning because up to this point, according to Jake Leinenkugel, Okay, Jake Kummerow. See, I said that. Jake McCabe.
Jake Ferguson, Jake Renfro, Jake Kummerow, Jake McCabe, Jake Williams.
Oh.
All right.
No Jake Nutt in there. That's a little disrespectful, ChatGPT. That's crazy, but whatever. I
get it.
Again, McGill on the mound. The Cubs have scored in every first inning in this series, and that was obviously an Achilles heel for the Brewers. Like I said, Trevor McGill comes out. He delivers when the team needed him the most, confirming his all-star status. After striking out Tucker, he lets out a thunderous scream, followed by some words of encouragement. If you have a small child around you, please plug your ears. I am paraphrasing a little bit. He said, "Let's fucking go, boys. We're going to go win this shit." And I'm telling you, when I read his lips, I was up and I was flexing. I was like, "Let's fucking go, Trevor. Let's go."
I saw that people were like, "Oh, it's so corny that he said that in the first inning." It's like, okay, two things. One, confidence. Okay, not allowed to have that, I guess. Two, he's a ninth inning pitcher. They brought him in the same way that they normally do for his ninth inning. Like they did his whole like walk-in intro and stuff.
Right.
For the first inning.
Right.
So like, no, it's tough, like TUFF tough because we won.
So I have a question now. Is it corny when a guy celebrates a home run in the second inning? Is that corny? Because they had a guy who hit a home run in the second inning. He celebrated. Is that corny?
It's almost like each at-bat matters.
It's almost like it was clutch. Like Trevor McGill was clutch in that moment. I literally texted that to you.
It stopped a four-game streak of scoring in the first inning.
Yeah, it's a mentality thing at that point. And anybody who's played sports knows that mentality is about 70% of the battle.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Setting the tone.
Yeah. So keep going.
I was going to say something else about setting the tone. Like all the at-bats matter in the playoffs. Like literally every single at-bat matters. Taylor said, then I got a clueless, delusional Dodgers fans come in and say, "Oh, it's going to be an easy series win for LA and they're going to sweep." And I'm like, okay, we'll go with that. Wouldn't expect a sweep in either direction. This series is going to go at least 6 games.
Yeah, at least 6.
With Trevor McGill, like I said, setting the tone and ending a streak of the Cubs scoring in the first inning all series long. Yep. And you look at some of these games where they're scoring in the first inning, that's all of their scoring.
Yep.
Like the 3-run home run that they hit in game 2 for Suzuki, that was all their scoring.
Yep.
The 4 runs that they scored in game 3, that was all of their scoring.
Yep.
So stopping them in the first inning, and they obviously end up scoring 1 in the second inning, that's all their scoring. Yep. You're talking about 3 games out of this 5-game series that all of their scoring came in 1 inning.
Yep.
Yeah. Gonna go ahead and say that matters.
Yeah, it was very important. And you get to the bottom of the first after the big time stuff from McGill. Churio's the first at bat. The lineup is back to normal. I'm feeling real good after that first inning. Churio strikes out. Terang, a really, really good at bat. After being down 0-2, he gets a couple straight foul balls, 4 straight foul balls. No, 2 straight. I apologize. And then he has a long out to the warning track. And I specifically remember both of us talking, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad at that at bat. because he got hard contact for a guy that was struggling to hit the ball.
Yep.
It was like, that's the first thing I want to see. I want to see you square the goddamn thing up and hit it hard. After that, we'll figure it out.
102.1 off the bat.
Yeah, so he hit it hard. He gave it a
Definitely
ride.
a step in the right direction for a guy who's striking out too much in the series.
Right. So I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm good to go. Then Contreras comes up the bat. And I love Willie Contreras, dude.
He's such a gangster, dude.
Again, I wrote down Contreras was clutch. And I wrote down that he also set the tone, smashing a four-seamer that was chest high for an early lead. And American Family Field is going absolutely bonkers after that home run, dude. That was some shit. Absolutely crazy. I don't know if you want to jump in on the home run real quick, and then I'll continue.
I'm going to wait to say something about all three home runs when we get that far.
Okay. So then Mizorowski comes in, and his second pitch, it's a tie ball game. Suzuki, who is absolutely on a heater. Again, we give respect where respect is due, and Suzuki is on a heater right now.
I'm going to give
God
some
that we don't have to deal with
the
him.
whole recap to another guy, too.
Right. Thank God we don't have to deal with him, but that guy is locked in right now. But the guy who locked in after that home run was Mizorowski. He only allowed 2 hits over 4 innings pitched. Had really, really good command. I thought he was better in this game than Game 3, I believe it was. No, it was Game 2. I'm sorry. Then Game 2, where Game 2 he was just throwing straight gas, bro. And the Cubs had no idea what to do with it. And then they see him this time, and they're like, okay, I'm going to try to time that fastball up. Well, his location was much better.
Yeah.
He was in the strike zone, throwing strikes, throwing that slider, and he was looking really, really good. Really good command. Ashby then comes in, and
can I jump in on Miz before we switch to
go ahead.
So he allows the game-tying home run. He did, like you said, he settled in very, very nicely after that. He retired 12 out of the next 14 batters that he faced.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Trevor McGill cementing his all-star status in the first inning.
Yep.
Jacob Mizorowski cemented his. Absolutely cemented his on the biggest stage of his career. Not to mention as a rookie.
Yep.
Andrew said I thought we pulled Miz a little early, but it all worked out. I'm going to say this. It's better to pull him a little bit early than too late.
Yeah.
Especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah. Before I get into to Ashby, first of all, I wanted to say that Vaughn ended up launching a home run in the fourth off a 3-2 count, cutter, 88 miles an hour, middle end, and he just hits it freaking 383 feet. And I'm like, dog, are we about to start another generational King Vaughn run, dude? Is he starting another one? I mean, great timing. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, great timing by Vaughn.
The best timing. If it lasts 2.5 weeks, the best timing.
Now, I just hope that, Terang gets going a little bit. Obviously, he is
we'll talk about that.
And we get Yelly going a little bit in this next series. Then this offense, there is nothing stopping them if Yelly gets going. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
So we get to Ashby. He did not have good command. He was rough. He wasn't hit when he is locating that sinker, and it's hitting the bottom of the zone. He's throwing that for strikes. He's untouchable.
And if he can like loop his curveball to the bottom of the strike zone, I agree with you. He's untouchable.
Yeah, the sliders just move so much that he's that's his out pitch. He's not really going to throw that for a lot of strikes. Really, he's trying to just move people's eye location with that. Yeah. But he's got to throw the sinker in the curveball for strikes. Right.
Oh, W's in the chat. Thanks, Simon.
W's in the chat. Here we are. You know what? Maybe I'll just lock in and I'll like it, Simon. Then you can just keep doing it. So then we get the Chad Patrick Legacy game, and I'm like, dog, who is this guy, dude? He comes up with 2 out and 1 out in the 6th, and he gets Suzuki to line out, and then he gets Ian Happ, who doesn't strike out a lot, by the way. He gets Ian Happ looking.
Backwards K.
And we are going crazy.
Absolutely painted.
Dude, I'm like, what? Who is this guy, bro? So
another rookie, by the way.
Dude, yeah, it's insane. So then Patrick goes back up. He ends up he strikes out Kelly to start the 7th. He gets PCA to fly out, which he flies out the deep part of the ballpark, same as Terang, opposite field, left field. Yep. And then he gets Swanson swinging, and the place is going bananas.
Chad
I'm
Patrick
like,
is also going bananas.
what's that?
Chad Patrick was also going bananas.
Yeah, Chad Patrick was fired up, dude. Me and Chad
Yeah.
Patrick had the same facial expression after that strikeout, by the way. We were both screaming very loud. I was just in a house in a living room in my shorts, so only difference.
Simon
It
said
is,
this has been a good weekend for sports. It really has. Unless you're a
all in
Chicago
all,
fan. And, you know.
all in all, it has been a pretty good weekend. So then Terang, he gives the Brewers the insurance run that they need with a home run of his own, and that had to feel so good. Also, we got the second time that PCA came this close to robbing the home run.
Why did he jump for both of those?
Dude,
They literally hit the divider from where the ground like goes for the batter's eye.
dude,
That's the equivalent of a second deck home run.
I don't know
Like,
what he's doing.
Dog, why are you jumping for that?
I don't know.
And like crashing into the wall all dramatically too while you're doing it.
He literally looks like a 9-year-old. Like you told him you won't buy him something off Fortnite, and they just start flailing their body and falling on the couch. Like, what the hell is going on, bro?
Yeah, like what are you jumping at, bro?
I mean, honestly, really funny. Really funny.
It was funny. Andrew said Packers win, Brewers win, Bucks signed a third at a Cumbro. We're gonna talk about that on Wednesday. Let me just jump in because I want to talk about Ashby.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the top of the sixth, you mentioned his command not being great. He allowed a single and a hit by pitch before recording it out and got behind 3-1 to Kyle Tucker. So we are in a position where the Brewers have a 2-1 lead. Kyle Tucker is batting in a 3-1 count with 2 on and nobody out.
Yeah.
This was the point at which I was sweaty. This was the point where I'm like sitting in the kitchen, like watching the game, and I'm like running my hands through my hair. That was the only point where I was nervous. That was the point where I was like, oh, like we really, really need an out. And I give Ashby a ton of credit for settling in, locking in. Because to come back and strike out Kyle Tucker, like a guy that they literally traded to like be their offense and probably going to be leaving them, which LOL for them, puts them in this position now where like this is the spot you want to be. You're down by 1 with 2 on and your best hitter at the plate.
Yeah.
I mean, on paper, best hitter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say another guy when we do a recap, but that's where you want to be. And he's in a hitter's count at 3-1. And Ashby comes back and strikes him out. I cannot emphasize like how like impressive that is for Aaron Ashby to come back and get that strike out. So I give him all of that credit. Taylor said PCA is an attention seeker. I mean, he's got to be. I mean, you add that with all the bat spiking that he does and throwing his helmet in the dugout. Like,
yeah,
he made it out in the 7th inning, and I'm like, yep, that's gonna be the last at bat that we see of PCA this year.
Yep, you said that to me, so I can't.
I did say that.
I can't confirm.
But then, like you said, Chad Patrick just absolutely dealing. Terang hitting the 3rd solo shot of the game, which also with 2 outs, ending his slump with a 107.4, 416-foot home run.
Crushed it.
3 solo homers, all with 2 outs. I would call them the tone setter, the game winner, and the deal sealer.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
So, now let's talk Abner Uribe.
Let's talk Abner Uribe. So, got some stuff on Abner. So, Abner Uribe came in the game in the 8th inning. The Brewers, it looks like at this point, are going to ask him to get a 6-out save. And he gets a fly out. He allows a walk to Michael Bush, who's been on fire. That was bars. I agree with that. He gets Horner to line out, and then he gets Tucker on a slow roller to Terang. So, as my girlfriend is yelling at my son upstairs. So Kyle Tucker just, honestly, he looks checked out at this point.
Yeah.
So very good by him. In the 8th inning, Uribe got 2 outs via the the sinker, and 1 out via the slider. So that's going to be important for context coming up. So we get to the 9th inning. He only had to throw 9 pitches in the 9th inning. I was going to the 9th inning like, oh God, Suzuki's up first. If he hits a home run, this is going to be fucking crazy. I'm going to be stressing out. Mind you, I told Tyler this after the game. So I have a Maine Coon cat, and her name is Sushi. And I started sweating at about the 3rd inning because I'm like, I really just want to beat the Cubs. I really don't like Chicago sports. They're really my rival in every sport. Like, I hate the Bulls, I hate the Cubs, I hate the Bears. All equally, I hate them all. So between every at-bat that the Brewers were pitching to the Cubs, I was petting my cat. I was like, all right, come here. All right, come here. Hi, Sushi. So every at-bat, I'm petting this cat. The cat's trying to leave during the 7th inning. I'm like, the hell you are? This is working so far. Get your ass over here. Move the cat back, pet the cat. So get to the 9th inning. Suzuki's up. Got it. Get him to fly out on a sinker. I'm like, thank God that guy is off. I do not want to see him again until next season. Then Ian Happ is up. Get him to lie down on a slider. And then last pitcher, I believe it. Who the hell was the last out? I forgot. But got him on a slider. So you're right. He got 2 outs.
Never question me again.
He got 2 outs. With the sinker in the 8th. He got 1 out with the sinker in the 9th, 1 out with the slider in the 8th, 2 outs with the slider in the 9th, so he kind of flip-flopped. He got 3 outs with both of them. He threw the sinker. He threw 3 balls with the sinker, 4 strikes with the sinker. He threw 7 balls with the slider, 2 strikes with the slider. So the slider, if he commands that a little bit better, he's going to be really, really important. We're going to go over some numbers here shortly. He's going to be really important versus the Dodgers, but elite.
So the other 2 things, there was a point where William Contreras lined into a double play. I think it was Churio doubled off. It is what it is. That line out that he had was 111 miles an hour off the bat. Never apologize for hitting the ball that hard.
Wow.
So that's going to result in a lot of good things as you increase the sample size.
Yep.
And the last thing I want to say, as we move from game 5 into just kind of the series as a whole, because I got some numbers for it. I told you, and I literally did the exact same thing after game 5 that I did after this game, was that this game reminded me of Bucks Nets game 7 in 2021. That's really what it reminded me of. Like, you know, you got the nervous feelings like, okay, all we got to do is win this game and we move on. And, you know, there's certain points where it feels nervous, like that 6th inning, like I said. There was a point in game 7 where Joe Harris has a wide open 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit. And he misses it. That's Ashby coming back and you getting that strikeout on Kyle Tucker. Like, the biggest opportunity you had, the guy you want with the ball in his hands, the guy you want in that moment, in that spot, and come through for us.
You know what? That's actually a really good comparison because Kyle Tucker was terrible in this series. And Harris was also terrible in that series. They both could have been X factors that would have flipped it. That was really nicely done. I like that.
I'm smart sometimes.
I like that a
lot. So Steve is watching from the American Family Field parking lot. Hey, Steve said exactly what I thought. Steve's watching from the parking lot at the American Family Field. He said he's going to try to bring home a W tonight with Euchre Magic. Appreciate it, Steve. All right. So on the series as a whole, I'm going to berate one of the Cubs players, and then I'm going to give one of them a big amount of credit. So I'm going to do the good stuff first, and then we're going to laugh at PCA. First, I'm going to give credit where it's due. Yeah. Michael Busch was fantastic.
Yeah.
Michael Busch was an absolute monster. And Andrew said Miller Park. Don't you mean Wrigley North? But don't fly an L flag. Anyways, Michael Busch was great. There's no denying it. I'm not going to try to deny it because there is no denying it. Michael Busch was great. Now let's all laugh at PCA.
Yep.
So Pete Crow Armstrong in this series batted 118. Ooh, we had the hit of the series in game 3. The amount of times that I said, bro, shut the fuck up to my screen while watching this series. I need to use my toes to count because I'd run out of fingers. A 167 on base percentage, a 118 slug, literally did not have a single extra base hit, and a 284 OPS. Now let's talk about 3 Brewers who had higher batting averages than that OPS in this series. So some playoff risers for the Milwaukee Brewers. If we're talking about some series MVPs, I'll let you give one because I wrote 3 guys down in their stats. So I'll let you give one, probably the obvious one. But go ahead and give me your series MVP, and I'll give you some numbers.
Well, if I had to pick a series MVP, it would probably be Andrew Vaughn. Personally,
That's one of the 3, and that's a great pick.
He had 2 massive home runs. He had the game-tying 3-run shot in Game 2 that really gave us a lot of momentum. And then obviously, like you said, had a game winner in Game 5. So that would be my series MVP.
So Andrew Vaughn batted .286, had a .412 slug, a 714. 412 on base percentage, a 714 slug, and a 1.126 OPS in the series.
King Vaughn, baby.
King Vaughn. Absolutely. Had those 2 home runs. He had 10 total bases and 3 fewer at-bats than William Contreras, who I would say is another worthy candidate for the series MVP, who batted .300, had a .333 on base percentage, a .650 slug, and a .983 OPS. 3 of his 6 hits were for extra bases. 2 of them were homers. Only had 3 strikeouts. He had 12 total bases.
Yeah.
Andrew said Willie.
Are you picking on me, man?
That's why you're not top 10 in Wisconsin Jake's history. And then Jackson Chourio. So we posted the numbers of Jackson Chourio compared to PCA for this series and for their playoff careers as a whole. Jackson Chourio in this series, with a bum hamstring, he was at like 80%, batted .389, over 100 points higher than PCA's OPS in the series.
Yep.
Had a .421 on base percentage, a .667 slug, and a 1.088 OPS. 3 of his 7 hits were extra bases. He also had 12 total bases and led the team with 6 RBI.
He is 21 years old, and he's a playoff riser. We're going to be all right for a while.
Twice. He's been a playoff riser twice.
Yep. We're going to be just fine here in Milwaukee.
Yeah. So love to see that. If you had to pick a pitching MVP, who would you pick for the series?
I would honestly, it's going to sound crazy, but I would pick Chad Patrick, bro. I would have never thought I would have said that, but he pretty clearly gave some massive innings.
He's one of the 3 that I have written down again. So Freddie Peralta did lead the Brewers in innings pitched, 9.2 innings, did allow 5 earned runs, racked up 15 strikeouts, had 5 walks, which isn't awful, but it could be a little bit better. Andrew also picked Patrick. My pick would have been Jacob Mizorowski.
It's a great pick. That's the other guy I had in mind, but I was like, I have to say Patrick. He
was
vibes.
Second on the team with 7 innings pitched, got 2 Ws.
Yep.
He had 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, and only 1 earned run. If you look at that as a 1-game outing, 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, and only 1 earned run, that's better than a gem. That's dominance.
Yeah, especially
for a guy who had command struggles.
Right.
Especially later on in the season. People are like, oh, they got him figured out. For him to come and pitch that way is amazing. Taylor said Abner Uribe. That's a great pick just for his Game 5 numbers alone.
Yeah.
Chad Patrick on the series, 4 2/3, no hit innings.
Yeah.
No walks.
Yeah.
And 6 strikeouts.
Yeah.
That is dominance.
Dude, you know how good it feels to see a number 39 pitching like that in the playoffs?
Man.
I thought that was going to be Corbin, like not a shot at Corbin Burns, but like, dog, I thought that was about to be Corbin Burns in 2021.
He's pitching like Corbin Burns.
He is.
He like literally same pitch mix and everything.
Yeah.
Like low 90s variants of fastballs and stuff. Like, dude, he did it. He did it. He did the damn thing. He allowed no base runners.
Yeah.
Nobody touched base against him.
And he was striking people out, dude. That's
insane. 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's the craziest part for me is the like ground balls. I'm like, that's cool and all, but like, dude, he's striking people out, bro. Like, what the hell?
So, anything else you want to say before we move on? Yes, we are moving on, and we'll save any more Cubs beration until the offseason. That's why we wanted the Cubs. We wanted the Cubs because we didn't want to spend all winter hearing Cubs fans being like, well, you're only in the NLCS because you didn't have to face us.
Yep.
I wanted the Cubs because I wanted there to be no excuses for a head-to-head matchup. And if it had gone the other way, fine.
Right.
But it didn't. We wanted the Cubs. We got the Cubs, and we won. So, anything else you want to say?
Nope. Got
Yeah,
nothing.
hope you enjoyed your one-season wonder of Kyle Tucker, and I can't wait to see Cam Smith hit 40 bombs for the Astros next year.
Right.
All right. So we're moving on. We are moving on. We are in the next round. We are in the NLCS. The Brewers are one of 4 teams remaining in Major League Baseball. It's the Final Four. It's 4 games to advance. It's a 7-game series. Games 1 and 2 are tonight and tomorrow. Then games 3, 4, and 5 will be in LA. That will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then if games 6 and 7 are necessary, that would be next week, Monday and Tuesday. So, starting with tonight, talk about some pitching matchups. The Brewers did announce Aaron Ashby, which I'm just gonna say it's gonna be followed by Quinn Priester. Pat Murphy was asked about it in his press conference. He said it's 71%, quote unquote, 71% that will see Quinn Priester tonight. So it's Aaron Ashby followed by Quinn Priester. Pat Murphy's just such a fucker.
Yeah.
So versus Blake Snell. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not expecting a lot of scoring tonight.
No, not tonight. I think tonight will be one of those like 3-2 kind of games where it's a grinder, and I'm gonna be like.
Andrew said Brewers in 6. Honestly, whichever way this series goes, none of it's going to shock me. Like unless somebody sweeps somebody.
Yeah.
But I think whoever wins is going to take at least 6 games.
I agree. But I mean, Brewers in 6 for the culture and the vibes. I can get down with that. So I pulled some ground ball percentages for the Brewers pitchers, the Dodgers as a team, and the Brewers as a team. So Aaron Ashby starting, like you said, he almost has this he has a really high ground ball percentage. He has a 61.9 ground ball percentage, so that's really good when you're talking about going against that top 3 in that lineup versus the Dodgers. So if you can get those top 3, we can get a clean first inning. That's going to go a really long way. We talk about Quinn Priester. Obviously, he has a really, really high ground ball percentage too. He's a starter, and he has a 58.3% ground ball percentage, which is 4th among MLB pitchers with at least 140 innings pitched. So that's really good. Freddie, who will pitch tomorrow, he has a 35.2 ground ball percentage, but obviously we know Freddie can strike some people out as well. So,
Kim's at the game too. We got 2 people tuned in from the parking lot.
Hell yeah, let's go. Grant Anderson has a 48.2%. So that's really good for him. His arm angle just really messes with a lot of hitters. So when he's going good, he's going good. Gosser has a 41.7% ground ball percentage. Koenig has a 46.6. McGill has 37.8. Again, a big strikeout guy. Mizorowski has a 37.5. Big strikeout guy. Myers is a 38.8. Quintana has a 46.5. So I wouldn't mind seeing Quintana in this series. He's obviously a very good pitcher. Been around a while. And Uribe leads the team, or he's third on the team. I apologize. 55% ground ball percentage. His sinker is just deadly, man. He's got 14.1% of arm angle movement, 6.1% of vertical drop, coming from a pitch that's looking at you at 98 to 100 miles an hour. That's crazy. Also, Taylor, the standing only tickets really aren't that bad of a price. I'm just saying.
If you got Jet and Rolex money.
So I looked up the Brewers pitchers. They posted a 45.6% ground ball rate, which was 4th best in all MLB, which is obviously part of the reason why the Brewers play such good defense, and makes them a really good team. The Dodgers had the lowest ground ball percentage in Major League Baseball. They only had a 38% ground ball percentage. They have not ranked higher than the 3rd lowest ground ball percentage for 6 consecutive seasons, which is also a reason to their success. They hit the ball in the air. They score a lot of runs. I mean, you could do that when you buy people that hit the ball in the air and hit it really far. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously that goes hand in hand. But, them having the lowest ground ball percentage, the Brewers being one of the best ground ball percentage teams, and the way that they play defense and position, obviously that's going to be a big key for the 7-game series.
Yeah. Andrew said he's jealous of all the people at the game. I didn't get to see the Brewers in person this year. The closest I got was going to AA Biloxi. Hey,
That's still pretty sick.
That stadium is awesome. I love it so much. So I'm a little bit jealous of that.
Yeah.
I would love to go back to that stadium. Plus, you get to see some future Brewers. So
Right.
you got that going for you.
Yeah. Jesus Mate next year.
He was there for a little bit this year already. He might be on the Jackson Churio trajectory.
Yeah, I guess I don't know when Andrew went, but if you go early next year, you'll get to see Jesus Mate.
Yeah. Looking at it, Ashby versus Blake Snell tonight. Freddie Peralta versus Yoshinbu Yamamoto tomorrow. You look at Game 3. You mentioned Quintana. I think potentially you could put. I was going to say put or pair at the same time. So Taylor said if they go to the World Series, might have to make something. Figure it out. You could add Quintana with Mizorowski. You could pair Quintana and Myers, Quintana and Patrick. If we're discussing looking at what the roster looks like for the Brewers, Tobias Myers was put on there. Nick Mears was left off. Somewhat of a surprising move. I personally would have kept Nick Mears over Grant Anderson. That was a discourse that was had earlier in the season. But, I mean, Pat Murphy was pretty clear. He said what the Brewers are looking for with their roster is length. Now, if there's any game that ends up being a blowout situation and you need a mop-up guy, Grant Anderson can give you more innings than Nick Mears can, if we're being honest. Like, Nick Mears is a 1 inning or less guy. Grant Anderson is a guy who, if you're up by 5 runs or down by 6 runs or, whatever the case, is Grant Anderson can give you 2 innings, maybe 2+ innings. Yeah. So that's why he's on the roster. Then, talk about, I saw a lot of people going, why is Robert Gosser on this roster? So I have it right here. This is from MLB Network this morning. This is Shohei Ohtani's numbers versus a certain arm angle, and that certain arm angle is 28 degrees. Robert Gosser pitches at a 28-degree arm angle. 38-degree arm angle. Yes, this is his numbers against 38 degrees and lower. His batting average drops by almost 100 points. His slugging average drops by over 400 points. He strikes out almost 10% more. Now he hits many more home runs per at bat. But again, you're talking about a 10% raise in strikeouts, a 40% drop in slugging, and a 100-point drop in average before you even get to the fact that he walks 7% less, and his run value is 22 lower.
Damn.
So I'm going to say this, and I said this to you. I believe that Robert Gosser is going to open a game in the series. Wouldn't shock me if it's on Game 3 on Thursday. Wouldn't shock me if they put him ahead of a guy like Chad Patrick in Game 4 on Friday. Like, it's not going to surprise me if we get to a point where, the Brewers are about to face the top of the order and Quintana is getting through the number 9 hitter, and then you bring in Gosser for the top 3.
Yeah.
Taylor, DL Hall is the only other guy that I would have considered for this spot. But when you bring in the arm angle part of it, that's where I understand why they went with it. If you are looking at anything that can give you an advantage over Shohei Ohtani, any advantage, even if it's just a lefty-lefty matchup that gives you a different arm angle that the numbers tell you he struggles against, you're taking that advantage.
Yep.
I'm going to say this. It shouldn't be any sort of a hot take, but people don't like saying it about active players for some reason. Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player ever.
You think he's the greatest ever?
I think he's the greatest ever.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. The greatest baseball player that I've ever seen in my entire life is Barry Bonds. There will never... Dude, Barry Bonds literally, I think it was 2002, he literally got intentionally walked 130 times, and he had 73 fucking home runs that year. He would have 100 home runs that year, dude, in 1 year. Barry Bonds is the best player ever, to me.
That's why I put an asterisk next to it, Andrew. And it's hard, too, because, I put an asterisk next to it because I want Hank Aaron to be the all-time home run leader still.
I don't disagree with it, but you still have to hit the ball.
the factor of it, like with Ohtani being a two-way player, so he might pitch in this series too.
Oh, he will.
He might not start a game, but he might, go 3 innings here or there. Like,
Okay.
so we're gonna see Ohtani pitch a little bit in this series.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm not expecting him to be a starter, but I mean, any advantage that you can have over arguably the greatest baseball player of all time, any advantage you can have, you're taking.
I mean, case in point, he's going to be one of the best 3 hitters that we ever see in our lives.
He's,
Because the only other 2 that I bring up for me, like best hitters ever, Ichiro, elite, and Albert Pujols. Those are the other 2 guys that I think of.
And the thing with that is that you can almost say that Ohtani's style is a combination of those 2.
It pretty much is.
He's got the hit tools of Ichiro with the power of Pujols.
Yeah.
And also can steal 50 bases in a season. And Babe Ruth, that's where we're at. Like, he's modern Babe Ruth. 100 years from now, people are going to talk about Shohei Ohtani like we talk about Babe Ruth. So, like I said, arguably the greatest baseball player of all time. You need any advantage you can get against him. Every time I get Shohei Ohtani out, I'm going to be Xing it.
Oh,
and then you also have to face Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman.
Right.
So they needed lefties on the roster. Like Kim asked, did they add Myers instead of Mears because he can go multiple innings or to be a starter? Yes, both. You can use him as a starter. You can use him as a bulk guy after an opener. I think they're probably going to try to do the opener thing at least twice this series. I think Freddie Peralta might be the only guy that actually just truly starts a game. Other than that, they might go with openers for a lot of it. I would say maybe Trevor McGill opens a game. Honestly, I'm not going to say. I wouldn't be shocked if Jared Koenig opens a game in this series. Because their top 3 hitters, 2 of them are lefties. So the Brewers will, like they are doing tonight, probably put lefties in their starter, quote-unquote starter, to open the games to face 2 of those 3 top hitters who are lefties. And get through those 3 hitters and then bring in your quote-unquote starter.
Do we want to talk about the lineup that Murphy just came out with? I just seen it right now.
I'm going to pull it up. So as we can talk about the lineup in a second. Give me your position player X factor for the series.
So I kind of talked about it before. Contreras was really good in the Cubs series, so we got him going now. Even with the banged up left hand, he's still hitting the ball hard. Talked about King Vaughn. He's been hitting good. Hopefully Terang with that home run and having that loud out in the first at bat is kind of turning a corner here. But the guy that really has to get going, the guy who turns the key to turn the engine on is Christian Yelich. The guy who had over 100 RBIs for us, came up just short of the 30 home run year. He's got to get going. He was 4 for 12 total in the Cubs series. That's after having a 3 for 4 game in game 2. So he went 1 for 8 after that 3 for 4 game. He scored 2 runs. He had 0 RBIs. He needs to hit often. He needs to hit for power to have this Brewers team going and advancing to their first World Series since 1982.
So I also put Christian Yelich as my position player X factor, and I put it because he keeps getting on base. There was a lot of people that was like, oh man, Yelich didn't do enough. His OPS was low. He had a 679 OPS in the NLDS. He had a 364 on base percentage.
That's not bad.
So that's pretty solid. If he's getting on base that much, that helps the guys around him.
Yeah.
The guys batting around him, William Contreras, Andrew Vaughn, and Jackson Chourio.
Yeah.
Who are the 3 best players of the series.
Yeah.
So him getting on base does still help those guys see better pitches.
True.
So lineup is out, and I agree with you. Let's talk about it. I'm just gonna put it up. It's interesting.
It is.
So Brewers starting lineup for tonight is Chourio in right field, not left field, not center field. Christian Yelich DHing, batting second. Contreras batting third. Terang in the cleanup spot again. Vaughn, Frelick playing center field. Durbin playing third base. Collins in left. Ortiz at shortstop, and then Aaron Ashby opening the game. So Brewers are going against a lefty, and opt essentially just to have Isaac Collins start instead of Blake Perkins. And somebody asked the question on the right-hand side, benching Perkins and Lockridge at the same time, is everything okay over there? And the thing I would say is, what did we just talk about? We just said we think this game is going to be a 3-2 dogfight, slugfest, a low-scoring game.
Yep.
Perkins is your late-inning defensive substitute.
Yep.
Brandon Lockridge is literally only on this roster to pinch run.
That is literally it.
It's the only reason he's here.
He could play outfield in a pinch.
Yes, but he's here to run. That's literally it.
Yep. Keep those legs loose, buddy.
So essentially what I'm seeing from this is Churio said he was, quote, close to 100%.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was close. So if he's at 90%, you put him in right, you put Frelick in center, you have Frelick ranging around because he catches everything.
Yep.
And then they just basically flip-flopped Yelich and Terang. You got Terang batting cleanup with Yelich batting second. To me, part of that is, like I just said, Yelich is still getting on base. So if you're looking at Joey Ortiz, and they did this earlier in the season and helped getting him going, like in August, you look at Joey Ortiz batting ninth, and you can't say, oh, shit, Terang is up in 2 batters. Why don't we just let Ortiz walk, or just pitch to Ortiz? Like, you have Yelich up in 2 at-bats. You know he's getting on base.
Yep. And then immediately right after Yelich, you have a guy that kills lefties in Churio. You have Yelich who hits everybody. It doesn't matter, righty or lefty. Yep. And you have a guy that kills lefties behind Yelich, which should get Yelich some better pitches for him to hit a little bit harder.
Yep.
And then again, after Terang, you have another guy who kills lefties.
Yeah.
It's a very nice lineup. I am very happy with this lineup. This is very good.
Scott said I'm predicting Terang with the big hit again tonight. I would love that. Dude. And then you look at the lineup here. Righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, switch, righty.
Yep. I love this lineup. This is elite. Very nicely done. Fairly nicely done, Pat. I like this.
All right. So last thing, give me your pitching X factor for the series.
I ran pretty much every scenario through my head, but the guy, and this is kind of a low hanging fruit, but I went with Mizorowski.
Me too. Look at us. Same X factors on both sides.
He posted a 37.5 ground ball percentage, a 35% K percentage. He averaged 12.6 Ks per 9, which was 98th percentile. So he's a guy that can get big outs via the ground ball. With his slider, his hard stuff, he can strike you out. He only had a 3.93 walk percentage, which translates to a 3.21 K to walk ratio. If you keep the contact on the ground and you strike people out, you give us some extra innings of work, it's going to go a long way in a 7-game series.
All righty. I'm very excited. Game 1 starts in 2.5 hours. We get a rematch of the 2018 NLCS. Only 3 players from each team remain from those teams. Woodruff, Yelich, and Freddie. And for the Dodgers, it's Kershaw, Max Muncy, and Kike Hernandez were the only guys on the team there. Taylor, I was very close to picking Priester for the X Factor. Just because if he rebounds, like I said to Jake today, if he can get 4,743 ground balls like he did earlier in the season, he'll be very, very important and could potentially pitch a second time in this series if he does well tonight.
Dude, if he gives us 6 innings, Brewers are winning.
If Ashby gets the first inning and does it clean, and Priester goes from the 2nd to the 6th and gives us 5 innings, and then we go Koenig Uribe, and just at 2.5 hours is like 10 beers in Wisconsin time.
All right, so you have 10 beers until game time.
Just don't walk, folks. Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, just control the command and let guys get themselves out. I mean, they have good defense behind them.
Yep.
All right, so game 1 tonight, game 2 tomorrow night. We will have 2 games to recap on Wednesday. We're also going to recap Badgers against Iowa. That's going to be a short portion of the show. We abbreviated our coverage. We discussed it last week on why we did so. And then we're also going to be doing our Bucks primer. So we're going to go through all the additions and departures, our bowl predictions, our record predictions, some of the contextual stuff that we're seeing so far in the preseason. And then we'll be back later on in the week, depending on how the series goes. Might be again next Monday. We'll see. But as the series goes on, we'll pop up and do more pop-ups, special episodes like this, depending on how the series goes. And other than that, we'll see you again tomorrow night for our Packers show, and then we'll see you guys on Wednesday. So thanks for tuning in for today.
Go, bro.